Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mackenzie Sullivan. If you're new here, I am a track and field athlete at the University of Pittsburgh, and today's video is going to be my recovery routine slash the recovery tools I use. This is Angel. She wanted to say hi, and now she's running away from me. So this video was requested and I thought it would be a good idea to film, and I posted a poll on my YouTube asking you guys what video you wanted to see next of some videos that I had lined up, and this was the winner. So yeah, that's what today's video is going to be. The other videos that you saw in that poll are coming soon, including a Q&A. So comment questions below if you have any to be featured in that video. So yeah, today's video I'm going to be going over kind of my general recovery routine, the different tools I use, when I use those tools, different things that I recommend, some things that should be accessible to everyone, some things that kind of, being a collegiate athlete I have access to that other people might not. So take what you can from this video and I hope you will take something out of it. Okay, so I have three different categories that I'm kind of splitting this up into. One is getting ahead of soreness, the second is general soreness, and the third is targeting specific problem areas. So my first tip, as much as I know a lot of athletes dread this part of their training, is to make sure you have a thorough warm-up and thorough cool-down. That warm-up routine is crucial for how your training is going to go, and it's also important in preventing injuries. If your body isn't warmed up properly, then that could lead to a lot of unnecessary issues that you could have prevented. So I would encourage you to make sure you have a good warm-up routine. I'm going to get into a little bit of what my warm-up routine includes. And then also cool down, as I mentioned, make sure you get those jog laps, stretching, other things that I'm gonna mention. And yeah, just to make sure that you have a definitive opening and closing to your training session helps prevent injuries and things that you don't want as an athlete. So definitely make sure you get a good warm-up and cool down in. Okay, so getting ahead of soreness. When you're warming up properly, what does that entail? Obviously, you're gonna jog a few laps and do some stretches, but some other things you could do is roll out. I have a couple different things that I'm gonna show you that you could use for this. This is one option for kind of like rolling out your body. I honestly don't like this, but a lot of people swear by it. It's just the kind of thing where it goes on your leg and you roll it up and down. It kind of throws off my senses, so I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I do know that it definitely gets the job done for a lot of people. So something like this to roll out your body. And also what I personally love is foam rolling. Foam rolling is good because you can put your full body weight on the roller and it gets your muscles awake, ready to go. This is something that you can do before and after training, randomly throughout your day. They also have different foam rollers that are like textured, so that kind of digs into your muscles a little bit more. I just got this on Amazon, so that's where I got mine, but you can also get them, I'm sure, like Dick's Sporting Goods and places like that. Another thing you can use to roll out are just like balls. This is, I think, either a lacrosse ball or a field hockey ball. I don't really know, but you could use one of those balls or a tennis ball. And this is good for when you want to roll out, but you want to be more specific in targeting a certain area, whereas this is more of like a bigger limb that you're rolling out. People also use this a lot to put under their feet to make sure you're rolling out your arches before and after training, things like that. So that's what I use it for, but yeah. So these are all good tools for rolling out before and after training. Another thing that I love using to get ahead of soreness and also just to wake up my body before training, before a race, is my massage gun, which I keep in here. My school has these on hand for athletes, but I also decided to get my own just so I have it at home whenever I need it. You'll see that with a lot of things. I ended up buying a lot of tools just because I wanted to make sure I had them at home for the summer, and just at any point in my day that I needed them, I didn't want to have to go up to the training room. I just wanted to have a lot of things with me. So this is my massage gun that I bought. I got this from Walmart, I think, for like $40, so it's not super expensive. Mine's from the brand Snail Wax, and this is all the tools that it comes with. You can use the different parts to target certain areas of your body. Like this is kind of for more fine targeting areas. You have this, which is just a bigger surface. So they just do different things, and it comes with an instruction manual so that you can understand what to use for what. But yeah, this is my holy grail. I use it all the time. If you can, I do highly recommend these because they have been very helpful for me. Another thing for getting ahead of soreness would be stretching, and obviously you can just do your general stretches, but a tool that I have that is good for stretching is this stretching band. I'm pretty sure you can also get this at places like Dick's Sporting Goods and Amazon, but basically it's this long band and you put your foot in one of these holes here and you can pull it, and it gives you a better stretch than you would be able to do just on your own without this kind of help. So this, I'm sure, I don't know how much these are, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty inexpensive. I like to use this sometimes before I compete just because I feel like it gives me a better warm-up, so this is something I would recommend. And the last thing in this category of getting ahead of soreness, I wrote down something that people are tired of hearing, I'm sure, but make sure you're drinking water. And this is a message to myself as well, because I can say that I am not the best water drinker, but I do know that water is good for flushing out toxins, lactic acid, and it'll make you feel better as an athlete, so obviously make sure you're drinking water because it does a lot for you. So all of these tools that I showed you are things that you can do post-training as well, post-race. It doesn't all have to be like your beforehand routine, although it can be. I just realized I didn't mention this, and I want to come on here and say it really quickly because it's so important to recovery, and that is taking recovery days. I feel like with athletes, there is a lot of guilt that comes with taking days off, but that is essential to your training. Taking those recovery days is just as important as the days you are going super hard on the track. By not taking those recovery days, you are doing your body a disservice because you're not able to recover fully. So I just wanted to come on here and say, one, that recovery days are necessary, and also to not feel guilt with taking those recovery days. Next, I'm going to talk about general soreness and just some ways after the fact of training or a race, game, whatever, that you can help this soreness. The first thing I want to mention is something that I've tried a couple times and I want to try and get more into it, but I know there's a lot of people that swear by it, and that is cherry juice. I'll insert a picture right here. I don't know where you can get this, probably Amazon as well, but these little cherry juice packets or bottles you can drink after your training, and it helps flush out that lactic acid and prevent soreness. So if you're interested in that and you can handle the tartness of it, I would check that out because it's really tart for me, but I'm going to try and get around it because I think it will end up helping me in the long run. The second thing I know a lot of athletes don't want to hear, but for me, ice baths make the world a difference. Especially during conditioning when you are just go, go, go all day, putting all that stress on your body. If you go into an ice bath, it's just, it helps so much. I'll stay in there for probably like 10-15 minutes depending on how cold it is. And if I do take an ice bath in the morning, I feel so much better than if I were not to. And I know ice baths aren't everyone's cup of tea. I've become a lot more tolerable to them since I've gotten in college just because I felt a need to do them often, but I know not everyone is able to do them. If you can tolerate it, I would highly encourage it. If you really hate them, try and work your way up. Go in for as little amount of time as possible until you're able to tolerate it for a longer period of time, and I do think you will end up seeing the benefits. I know ice baths are also good for a lot of other things. Like I know random people will do like cold plunges just like in the morning or whatever, and it has a lot of other benefits to it. I'm gonna look up what the benefits are. So here's the different things that ice baths do. One, for recovery and relieving pain, it reduces inflammation, it reduces and prevents muscle soreness, boosts your performance, and reduces chronic pain. So that's good just in general athlete terms. Some overall health things that it does is supports your immune system, increases blood flow, and boosts your energy. And for your mental health, it elevates your mood, builds discipline, increases mental resilience, good for athletes, decreases stress, boosts your energy, and reduces anxiety and depression, supposedly. So it has a lot of benefits. If you're able to do it, I would highly suggest it. Okay, and the next thing that I do for general soreness is Normatec or recovery boots. I always just referred to this as Normatec because that's the brand of boots that I have at school, but I ended up getting my own cheaper pair off Amazon from the brand Fit King. You can look up Fit King recovery boots on Amazon, and I got mine in a size small. I'm 5'4" 3/4" for reference. These boots go all the way up your leg and they inflate and deflate, and it gets your blood flow going, helps with circulation, and it ultimately helps kind of wash that lactic acid out and prevent soreness. This is something that I will do almost every day. If I do ice baths when I feel like I'm near death or just in conditioning, that's when I do ice baths. Every other kind of general day to day, this is what I will use. In general, when you use these, especially if you had a really hard day, you want to keep your feet elevated. At school, we usually just had like these pads under our legs on the training tables that we use just to get our feet up a little bit, and it's very helpful. You can feel it working as you have them on and then after as well. So obviously, this was the inexpensive version compared to like Normatec, which is like $800. This is still, I think I got it on sale for like $300, so it's still very expensive, and I know not everyone has access to that. So it's not an option for everyone, I understand, but this is something that's very helpful for me. And if you're a high schooler who's going to be running in college, chances are you are going to have access to this, and I would use that and take advantage of that. But yeah, you know what you don't have an excuse for money-wise? Ice baths. Bath, get some ice. That is a cheap alternative. So yeah, those are my two main methods of recovery after training or after a meet. For instance, if I have a meet where I'm competing for 2 days, after the first day, I'll go back to my hotel room and I will use my recovery boots. Sometimes I'll do an ice bath depending on what event I ran. For instance, if I ran like the 800 and it was really hot, maybe I do an ice bath. And then the next day, my legs feel a lot better and I'm able to run that next race like the previous race didn't happen as much. Next, I'm going to talk about targeting specific problem areas. Sometimes you just have a muscle that is bothering you during a training and you need to get on top of it just to kind of diminish that pain that you're feeling in that moment so you're able to train. Obviously, if it's pain, like really bad, sit out. Like, talk to your coach, like you need to sit down if something really bad is going on. But if it's general tightness, muscle soreness that's just really bothering you in a certain area, some things that I do while I'm at training or if I'm about to compete is I use BioFreeze. I use BioFreeze Professional. There's a lot of other things that you can use like Tiger Balm, Icy Hot, Atomic Balm, things like that that are all pretty much the same thing but work differently for different people. For me, BioFreeze Professional is my go-to. And also KT tape. I used KT tape a lot in high school. I used it on my quads, hamstrings, back, and that tape just has something in it that's good for pain relief and I feel like also stability. If you're feeling a little off of one of your muscles, I feel more secure when I wear KT tape. So yeah, both KT tape and BioFreeze are things that you can get on Amazon. I'm pretty sure BioFreeze you can find at also just like a drugstore. So yeah, those are two things that I recommend for when you are in session and need immediate relief. Now for recovery for targeted problem areas. These are not things that everyone has access to. If you're a collegiate athlete, you may more than other people, but some things that I use if I'm having a specific area that's really bothering me. One is cupping. Cupping is not everyone's cup of tea, and for me, I bruise very easily. Hence, this is a hurdle bruise that I got like last week, and it's just getting bluer, I swear. So when I have cupping done, if I leave it on for like a little bit, I get very, very bruised, and it like shocks my trainer every time. But it gets blood flowing in that specific area, kind of back on the track of ice baths. Bear with me for 1 second, I know you're sick of hearing it. If you need to ice a specific part of your body, something that you could do is get a Dixie cup, fill it up with water, put that in the freezer, and then you can peel that once it's frozen, and you can give yourself an ice cup massage in a specific problem area. It's cheap, it's doable. In my apartment in college, my roommates and I just had a freezer full of these little Dixie cups of water so that if we needed them, they were on hand in our apartment. And the last thing I want to mention for specific problem areas is stim. Now this is something that my school has, and I think a lot of schools do have in their training room. What it is, it's like this machine and it has these sticky pads that you put on your problem area and it connects to the machine. I don't know if you can hear my washer right now. It sings when it's done. Sorry about that. Anyways, it stimulates the muscle that it's attached to, so it's kind of like a massage, and there's different patterns of stimulation that it can do depending on what your issue is or what your problem area is, and I honestly just love doing this. When you do this, typically you will have a heating pad with it or an ice pack depending on if it's before training, after training, or what the area is. Like last year I had back issues and I could put the stim on my back with a heating pad before I went and trained, and that just alleviated that pain so that I wasn't feeling that while I was training. It helps with the nerves in your muscle and it helps reduce that pain. once again promote blood flow. This I know is not something everyone has access to for sure, but sharing my recovery routine, this is something that I found pretty essential, and so essential that is also something I decided to purchase for myself. So this is from the brand Therabody, and it is the Power Dot, and what this is a portable stim machine. I ended up buying 2 so that I'm able to use it on both legs at once if I want to, but this is really cool because it connects to an app on your phone, and that's how you control the stim. It shows all the different muscles that you can use it on, and on your phone you're able to increase or decrease the intensity depending on how much you need. And these are obviously very portable, which is good for student athletes, us always being on the road, me in my hotel room, night before I race. Yeah, it's come very in handy for just when I need immediate help. How convenient is this? Honestly, it's me and Kalia that have all these tools. We both have these, we both have our recovery boots, and we basically have a training room set up in our apartment. These are another one of my holy grails. I believe I bought this, it would have been online, like on the Therabody website, I believe for like $150 for one of them. So it's also not cheap. But I found everything I purchased very necessary. As someone who is, you know, constantly pushing your body to the limit and experiencing muscle soreness, it's good to have these things on hand so that you're able to take care of everything going on with your body, so that you're able to perform at your best, feeling your best. So I know I showed a lot of things here that not everyone has access to and are pretty expensive, and it's just not something everyone's going to be able to buy. And that's okay. If you're experiencing soreness, use a foam roller, take an ice bath, stretch out. There are lots of things that you can do to get ahead of muscle soreness, injuries, things like that. So just because you might not have access to these recovery boots or this stim doesn't mean that you can't recover well. I hope you took a lot from this video and you learned some things and found some tools that maybe you want to try out yourself. If there's something I didn't mention in this video that you swear by in your recovery routine, comment it below so hopefully we can learn something from you and other people will add things to their recovery routine. But that's all I have for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and got some use out of it. If you aren't already, please subscribe to my channel for some more track content and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!